if they agree that parent involvement is important in your child's education. Please stand. If you don't agree, remain seated. I dare you.
Better stand up.
Please remain standing if you have 2 hours a month to contribute to your child's school. Please remain standing if you're willing to attend our first school council meeting to find out the important role of parents at this school. Please remain standing as one of our fabulous student leaders will take your contact information so we can send you meeting details. Have your grade 8s and your grade 10 and 11, 12 student leaders ready with clipboards and contact forms and sign them up. Have them go row by row and sign those parents up. They're not ducking out of this one. At least you've got your first contact, the first way to make it important. Recruiting members. This is something that, we always have a challenge with. How do we get them out? One of the best tools you have in your pocket is the reason you became a member of your school council. Would anyone like to share why they became a member of a school council? Instead of turning that into a negative, turn it into a positive. That there are some things and challenges that we want to improve, and you being part of our school council will help us do that. So rather than coming at it from the other viewpoint, come at it from a spirit of encouragement. And the reason, you're quite right, that is the main reason a lot of people get involved, is that they feel there's some dissatisfaction with the way the school's running or operating. Sometimes that's because there's not enough involvement from anybody but the principal, right? So, it's very important that if we keep all these ideas together, and then when you're talking to people and trying to get them involved, say, I'd like to share why I wanted to become part of the school council. Because all of these reasons probably ring true for almost anybody you're going to talk to. Because these are the common reasons. Communicate, communicate, communicate. You cannot communicate enough. People try everything that you can do to get the message out. Not everyone goes on a website these days. Our kids are very savvy and they're on every day, but not all parents are on. And some schools rely on email and website only. You have to look at how your community deals with engagement. Is it an individual invitation to each parent, to each family? Is it an inclusion in a newsletter? Is it an email, a direct email to them? Sit as a group and talk about how you like to be communicated with. And when you have 3 or 4 or 5 people talking about that, you're going to have all the ideas you need to develop a communication plan. But recruiting never stops. It never stops. You should be constantly recruiting to your council. So it's not like at the beginning of the year we recruit and we got these 5 people and that's good enough. Continue the message of welcome and recruitment. Be positive, just like I mentioned in that example. It's important to be positive about why you need people to be part of your council. Because there is some negative reasons, and there is negativity around why some people, I just want to go in there and make it better because it's terrible. Well, who's coming on your council with that message, right? You want to be positive that parents can drive change at a school. Parents can be partners and make the student experience better at a school. Everything positive. Be present at every school event. Curriculum night, meet the teacher night, Christmas events, concerts, spring concerts, band. Have a school council table and have some information on the school council and what you've accomplished to date as a council over the last few years or even just recently if you're a new council. But be at every event. Parents will eventually start coming up to you and saying, why are you here? Have a few minutes, ask the principal to have a few minutes at the beginning of every event to introduce the school council, to let them know in 2 minutes on the work that's being done by them, and let people know that you're at the side of the room and you'd like parents to come by and meet you. Kindergarten registration. Get those JK parents early. Kindergarten registration is an excellent way to develop your school council. These are new parents, enthusiastic parents, wanting to be involved in their kids' education and school, and encourage others when you meet them, when you pick up your kids, when you're at Meet the Teacher night, talk to them about getting involved. Share the successes of the school council. Talk about what you've done, even if it's something small. Try not to go, well, we didn't really do that much, so what can we say? Find one or two things that you've done that you're proud of, and what your future goals are. So maybe you haven't got all the work you'd like to do done, but you have goals to complete very good things for the school. Have that and communicate. Let parents know you need them to help you get to your goals and work on your goals. Let parents know that their commitment can be as little as a couple of hours a month or as much as they can spare. And that's why I do that little exercise up front, because people seem to think they have this misconception that, oh, if I get involved, like I'm 40 hours a month, I better not get involved. We need them at the table, partnering at the table. We need them in other areas too, but they don't necessarily have to be a school council member to do that work. But we need partners at the table. Let them know that it really involves a couple hours a month to attend a meeting and give, contribute to the discussion. If they can, it would be great to have them help in other work. And once you have them there, you'll be surprised how many can find a little extra time to help in other areas. But if you keep the commitment in focus, it doesn't seem overwhelming. Provide information on a special project which might interest them. For instance, let's say technology is starting to expand at the school, and the kids are getting into new things, and you're a person who's connected to technology in some way, you have special skills, you work for a manufacturer of product that you might be able to connect the school to, but you have the skills to help the school. Identify that, empower that person to work in that area so that they can use something they're good at and feel they really contribute to, because it's their area of expertise. And right now, all our schools are exploding in technology, and sometimes as parents and parent councils, we can't keep up. And maybe just having someone on your team who's technology driven, who can sit at a meeting and for 10 minutes explain how the kids are using the iPads, how they're using new equipment or new software or new learning skills, will be beneficial to the council. And that person feels valued for the contribution they're making at your council. Put a welcome message on the website at the beginning of the year. So if your principal does a welcome to the school piece on the website, make sure your school council's posting a welcome to the school council message. So when parents are first going on that website, especially our JKs and grade 9s, to see, learn about the school, see what their kids are going to get into, they'll see a welcome message with instructions on who to contact to get involved. Host a welcome event for newcomers at the school. Being a new person at a school is very intimidating, not just for our kids, but for the parents. Host a small event, some light refreshments for anyone new to the school, like, in October, once people are settled in, and just have a night where they can meet each other, they can feel more comfortable in the school, you can reach out to them as school council people, and then hook them in and get them at the school council. But more importantly, make them feel comfortable, and that school is home to them as well as their children. Use a section of the school newsletter to provide information on the council and as a welcome to new parents. So if your school puts out a monthly newsletter for students or quarterly newsletter, include a section from the school council. Ask your principal to include a regular section from the school council, or as you work up to it, have your own school council newsletter. Or perhaps the back page of the school newsletter, where people will know to look there for school council information. An information bulletin board at the front of their school. So some of you have work to do. Have a parent information bulletin board in the very first place a parent sees in the school. Make them know they're welcome, let them get information, and don't just post school council information. In secondary school, I posted many articles on student health, mental health, smoking cessation, drug use, articles important to parents, and I posted them because it's an information board. But it also showed that the school council was looking in all areas of student development. Because some people just think, well, you're going to go and talk about the student scores. As you know, there's a whole lot more to what happens out of school than student scores. So on that bulletin board, consider putting information about your school council, who you are, how to contact you, agendas, minutes from your last meeting, and then look for articles or information that would be of value to parents in the grade levels. You may even consider, we did at Mary Ward, I would have grade 9, grade 10, grade 11, and 12, so that parents would know where to go and get information that was relevant to the stage of school their child was attending. Post agendas, copies of minutes. The minutes are important because you can say what a topic is that's going to be discussed at a school council, but knowing what the discussion was that came out of it is really what will get parents involved, because they may not know, for instance, say school budget's on there. A lot of people think, okay, so they just tell you the school budget's $15,000. No, we need to know out of that $15,000, how is it being spent? How is it being broken down? What are the priorities to the principal for spending those funds? And then how does that translate into a goal for the school council? How can they academically support educational upgrades and supports that are not directly related to the curriculum, but support the curriculum? Because maybe there's things that the principal would really like to have and you would like the students to have that the block budget may not pay for. But being partnered in the experience of understanding that budget and how it's paying for what and what it can't pay for. Sometimes I hear comments that the principal just doesn't want to pay for that. It may just be there's no money to pay for that. So understanding the school budget really helps a school council be effective in their way to support the school. And if parents see that in the minutes and understand that's the kind of information I'm going to get when I go to school council, it's very important, and it will drive people to your meeting, because every meeting has to give value. So, you know, they'll know that they're getting more information than just, yes, you know, grade 1 went on a field trip this month. Oh, great. Advertise meeting dates on the school signs. A lot of people do this, but a lot don't. I drive around this city every day, all day, and there's a lot of schools with a lot of information on their sign, but not the parent council meeting. And that's where it has to be, because people are picking up, dropping off students, walking by the school. Some work all day, but they walk their kids at night, or their grandmas walk the kids to school, and they say, you know, I saw on the sign that parents are invited to a meeting on whatever day. So make sure it's on your school sign. Create subcommittees that allow parents to work in areas that they have a specific interest. Does everyone know what subcommittees are? Okay, so we need to do another evening on subcommittees and other rules. Subcommittees are formed as part of a school council, and they are in specific areas. For instance, you might have a subcommittee on academics. You might have a subcommittee on finance. You might have a subcommittee on event planning, budget. There's a number of things you can have subcommittees on. A bylaws committee, elections committee. Subcommittees are part of the school council, but you don't have to be a voting member and attend every monthly meeting to be part of a subcommittee. Any parent can be part of the subcommittee. And this attracts parents and increases involvement, because if someone, for instance, if you have a technology subcommittee and people have interest in technology, they can play a role on that committee only. And then they work in that area. And then that committee reports to the school council and updates them on the work. So it does two things. It involves more parents, and it allows work to be done outside of the regular school council meeting.